So we have a handful of stories to touch on today, including Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville's new looks that were supposed to happen, and why fans are angry with Alexa Bliss. So let's get into it, starting with Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. Before they both disappeared for the entire month of July, Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville used to be a big part of Smackdown on a weekly basis. They were heavily featured week after week, and WWE invested a lot of time into their story. You take a look back when their storyline really started with the entire Otis situation, and that was around December of last year. So the backstory of their feud and storyline is about 7 months long. On top of those 7 months of backstory, Mandy and Sonya have been close friends for over 5 years, so you can add that on as well. Their backstory has a lot of time put into it, and has a lot of great storytelling as well. To think that Mandy and Sonya were actually eliminated from Tough Enough several years ago is unbelievable. Just look at the amazing work they've been doing this year alone. It definitely should have been them winning the competition because obviously they both have all the talent in the world. So we know their story. They came onto the main roster with Paige, but after Paige retired, they went on without her and became the tag team of Fire and Desire. Fire and Desire was a great tag team, but they didn't get much accomplished in terms of huge wins and championships. As Sonya explained several times during her promos, their time together was just Mandy Rose getting all the spotlight and Sonya standing in her shadow. Then when Mandy Rose was too busy, tied up, trying to figure out who she wanted to date instead of focusing on the women's tag team titles, that's when Sonya Deville had enough and made it her mission to stop Mandy and Otis from being together. Obviously, Sonya's big plan ended up being exposed and led to Mandy Rose no longer being her friend. Since then, Mandy and Sonya have been going back and forth on SmackDown, and even had some matches over the past few weeks as well. Over the last few weeks, Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville have completely vanished from WWE television. Still no word on what's going on with their 4-week absence, but I would expect to see them back any week now. But news did come out about one of the cancelled ideas for Mandy Rose vs. Sonya Deville. Reports claim that WWE was at one point considering a hair versus hair match for Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. Now, if you're a newer WWE viewer, chances are you haven't seen a match like this before because there hasn't been one in several years. But basically, it's just a regular singles match, but the loser of the match has to get their head shaved bald by the winner of the match. Usually WWE has the barber chair and the whole barber setup right by the ring to make it even more embarrassing for the losing superstar. The losing superstar is usually strapped to the barber's chair just screaming and yelling when the winner shaves their head. The most popular example of this match has to be WrestleMania 23 with Vince McMahon. The chairman of the company put his own hair on the line that year and ended up losing the match. So Stone Cold Steve Austin held him down and shaved his head. Vince McMahon continued to appear on WWE television after that, but would cover his head with multiple hats and other different things, since the character was embarrassed to show everyone his bald head. So that sort of thing was one of the rumors for Mandy Rose vs. Sonya Deville. So, would it have worked? I think it definitely would have. I'm not against this idea at all. I believe it really would have worked under one condition, and that's Sonya Deville being the one that lost and got her head shaved. There's a really good reason why I would go with Sonya Deville to come out of the match as the bald one. As we already started to see, Sonya Deville has this dominant feel to her character ever since she broke away from Mandy Rose. It just always feels like Sonya is in charge and is so dominant over her opponents. Sonya Deville has actually talked about this in many interviews and referred to it as like a split personality that she calls Daddy Deville. We talked about this once before, but basically Daddy Deville was inspired by Becky Lynch's The Man persona. Sonya claimed that originally it was just a joke and parody of Becky Lynch, but Sonya actually liked the name and wanted to do something with the persona. Sonya explained that she doesn't really see the term daddy being tied to just men. She said that she sees the word as representing a dominant figure, so that's why she went with Daddy Deville. It just basically means dominant Deville. But of course, that really doesn't have the same catchy ring to it, so Sonya flipped it to Daddy Deville. The reason why I would go with Sonya to lose the hair versus hair match is because I think it'll really help her embrace the Daddy DeVille persona with the new look. Losing all your hair usually has a big impact on a superstar's character, so Sonya's big character change could be her transition into her new alter ego. The old Sonya Deville would be long gone since she lost her hair, and instead, we would be introduced to the full-on Daddy DeVille character with Sonya's bold new look. She can really embrace it and use it to elevate that gimmick. A bald head is not something usually for the women's division, so Sonya would definitely stand out and could use that for her advantage. That's what I was thinking, and it made me realize that maybe this could actually work for Mandy Rose versus Sonya Deville. Of course, we don't know who would have been set to actually lose the match. Mandy Rose could have easily lost as well, but I just don't see what losing her hair would really do for Mandy's character. I can't think of any beneficial change that would come to Mandy Rose's character if she lost that match. And just by telling WWE's history, the heel often loses these hair versus hair matches because it's a good payback for the babyface in the story, and everyone can laugh at the heel's embarrassment of losing their hair. That's how it usually goes. The loser of the hair versus hair match is usually embarrassed, but that's where I think things can get really different here. I fully believe that Sonya can flip that and actually embrace her new look for her new gimmick. I think that would work out quite smoothly and works out best for the both of them. Mandy Rose gets her big time revenge by shaving Sonya's head, but at the same time, Sonya benefits from it because she embraces the new look and really goes crazy with her new gimmick. Both women end up winning in a way, and it would work out perfectly. Obviously, it seems that WWE has canceled these plans. Not sure if they'll ever actually consider doing this match again, but I think it could have worked the way we explained it. Many of you guys probably have a good story for Mandy Rose becoming the bald one as well, so let us know what you're thinking here about this story. At the time of this recording, Mandy and Sonya are still missing from WWE television with no explanation, so hopefully they can return soon, and who knows, maybe they can have a singles match at Summerslam. They definitely have enough backstory to earn a SummerSlam spot on the card. This is a great time to remind you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. A large amount of our viewers still aren't subscribed to the channel, so click that subscribe button below. Let's get back into it. Our next story talks about how fans are starting to become very vocal about WWE superstars joining Cameo. Over the last few months, we've seen a lot of superstars jump over to Cameo to create their own pages. The biggest story concerning this topic was when Roman Reigns made his own page a few months back. Fans loved the idea of him creating a page there, but when they realized that it cost $500 to book a Roman Reigns shoutout video, a lot of fans turned on him and questioned why it was so expensive. Well, two more huge WWE superstars recently jumped onto the platform. These superstars being Alexa Bliss and Sasha Banks. A Sasha Banks video will cost you $375, and a video from Alexa Bliss will cost $399. So obviously fans were heated right away. They wanted to book a video from Alexa, Sasha, Roman, and others, but they looked at the price and it's just not happening. We explained before why the price is so high, but the way the fans reacted to Alexa's new page let us know that there's still a lot of fans out there that might not fully understand how the pricing works. Alexa, Sasha, and Roman are globally known superstars with massive followings. We know that. So if they make their shoutout videos cost $10, then they'll never be able to leave the house because they'll be flooded with millions of orders. So to prevent a massive spam of orders from coming through, they spike up the price so that they don't get flooded with orders, and the recording process stays manageable and not too overwhelming. Obviously, if you want a video from them, it's going to cost you a lot. But that's just how the pricing has to be for these big-time celebrities, like WWE superstars. I think it's a great concept for WWE fans to get a pep talk or a birthday celebration video from their favorite superstars. The only downside is, of course, that hefty price. But that's just how it has to be. What are your thoughts on today's stories? How would you book a Mandy vs. Sonya hair vs. hair match? And what are your thoughts on all the Cameo feedback for the WWE superstars? Leave your comments, don't forget to subscribe, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.